Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, Maths Made Easy with Terry in 10 minutes. So we're going to be talking about how to differentiate a unit power multiplied by a constant. So the last video, I talked about how to differentiate a unit power. So I advise before you come to this video, make sure you've watched that and you understood that before coming to this video. Like I always say, please make sure you've subscribed, liked, and share. And if you've not clicked on the notification bell, so please do so that when I post new videos, you'll be the first person to know. So, in the last video, just a quick reminder, we talked about how you differentiate a unit power when we have y is equal to x power 1 or you have y equal to x. And we talked about how do you differentiate this. Now, but in this video, what we want to talk about, okay, so in this video, what we want to talk about is that when you're now having, in addition to the unit power, you are having a constant associated with it. So you're having y is equal to a raised to power x, or you're having y is equal to ax, something like this. Now, in the previous video, we talked about this, how do you differentiate this? So if you've not watched my previous video, please go back and have a look. But now we're going to talk about how you differentiate if the variable with the unit power has a constant associated with it. So where in this case, where a is a constant, okay? So where a is a constant. So that means, for example, you're having something like you have y is equal to 5x, okay? Or you're having y is equal to minus 3 over 4x, something like this. So you are having a constant, okay? And you also have, but the variable of x is equal to 1. All right, so what do you do? Now, remember, like I always say, don't forget, is that before you start differentiating, ensure that you have it in an index form. All right, so ensure you have it in an index form. So please don't forget, try to make sure you review what is an index form and try as much as possible to go to my videos on the laws of indices. I talked about the different laws of index, okay? So let's go back to the video now. So we have this now, and how do you do this? So there's one rule, okay? There's one rule on how to do this. The rule states that anytime you differentiate a derivative, okay, where a unit power multiplied by a constant, the derivative you're going to get is the same as the constant. So the rule states that when you differentiate, okay, so when you differentiate a unit power multiplied by a constant, so when you differentiate a unit power multiplied by a constant, okay, the derivative, so when we talk about the derivative, is like the dy over dx or stuff like that. The derivative is the same as the constant. So what we are saying is that when you have, for instance, y is equal to a raised to power x, when you differentiate dy over dx for this, the answer is going to be equal to what? A, the constant. Okay? Now, also, you can also use the power rule here. Okay? You can also use the power rule. So alternatively, now I've talked about the power rule. So if you've not watched my video on the power rule, please go back and have a look at it. So we can also use the power rule here. So we have y is equal to a. So we have y is equal to a x raised to power 1. So we're going to use a power rule with a constant here. So I told you that the y over dx, what you do is that you bring down this 1 and multiply by the constant. So it's going to be a multiplied by 1. Then you have x, and you have 1 minus 1. Are you seeing it? So that will give you a multiplied by 1 will give you a, x, 1 minus 1 will give you what? 0. And remember I told you in the laws of indices, anything raised to power 0 is equal to what? 1. So that will give you a multiplied by 1, and the answer is what? A. So you can see that the power rule as well can answer this question, and basically the same thing we got there. So when you have a constant with a variable with a unit power, okay, the derivative is always going to be equal to the constant, okay? The derivative will always be equal to the constant. All right, let me pick an example. Let's pick some exercises. Let's assume we have y is equal to what? 4x, okay? Now, when you differentiate this, okay, you're going to get what? 4. Now, because there's a constant with a unit power, so it's going to be equal to the constant. Number 2, let's say we have y is equal to minus 5 raised to the power x. Now, the constant here is minus 5, and x is raised to the power 1, unit power. So it's going to apply. So dy over dx is going to be equal to minus 5. Let's pick one more. We have y is equal to minus x. We have a constant, which is minus 1. And we have a power that is raised to the power 1. So dy over dx will be equal to minus 1. Let's pick one more. Let's say we have, let's make it more interesting. Now, let's make it fractions. Y is equal to 1 over 2x. Are you seeing it? We have a constant that is half and it's raised to the power 1. So the y over dx is going to be equal to what? Half. Okay. Number 5, we have y is equal to pi squared x raised to the power 1. Okay. Sorry. Pi x. Okay. We have pi x. So the y over the x is going to be equal to what? Pi. Are you seeing it? Because the pi is a constant here. Now, let's assume we have decimals. So let's say we have 1.7x. And we're told to differentiate this. So the y over the x is going to be equal to what? 1.7. So basically, when you're having a constant with a variable raised to a unit power, the derivative of it is going to be equal to the power. Is that right? And that'll be that for that. So let me give you some questions to try and just try on by yourself and see if you get the same thing. So let's say we have y is equal to 3.5x. We have y is equal to 7x. We have y is equal to 1 over 3x. We have y is equal to 72x. We have y is equal to minus 300x. And we have y is equal to minus 3 over 5x. And here, we were told to find the y over what? The x, okay? So like I said, you can use the power rule method as well. It's going to work as well. But just always know that when you have a unit power multiplied by a constant, it will always give you the unit power. All right, and that is that for that. So the next video, I'm going to go to the next concept on how to differentiate a simple fraction. All right, how do you differentiate a simple fraction? So if you've not subscribed and click the notification bell, I don't know what you're waiting for, so that when I post the new video on how to differentiate a simple fraction, you know how to do it. Okay, so I'll see you soon, and I'll see you in the next video.